Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Hummingbird Arcana Podcast. I am Jo Hummingbird. Thank you for joining me on this episode today. I wanted to bring you an episode very quickly about how astrology is not a death sentence. It is not written in stone, and it is not something that is concrete, but it is a system, it is a science, and it is a very potent piece of art that you can discern, you can use, you can integrate, you can understand different layers of yourself with. I want to dive into this just a little bit today. I don't want to make this a whole deep dive, but I want to describe to you some of the techniques that exist within the different branches of astrology to make you understand that it's not just this surface level experience that we're having or anything that you see on social media of like horoscopes or something you get a notification from Snapchat from. But if you like this episode, let me know by liking the video and subscribing to the YouTube channel and turning on that post notification bell if you're watching on YouTube, and following my podcast. If you're listening on a streaming platform, leave a review of some kind. Let me know in that comment section of your review if there's a topic you'd like me to make an episode on or anybody that you'd like me to make an episode with. So let's get into astrology is not a death sentence. But before we get into today's episode, I want to talk to you super quickly about Usui Reiki. Now, Reiki has been one of the most profound modalities of energy healing that I've ever had the pleasure of not only experiencing for myself, but also becoming certified to practice and teach to other people. This energy healing modality is believed to be the same one that was used by Buddha, aka Bodhisattva, as well as Jesus Christ, aka Yeshua, and his beloved Mary Magdalene when they were helping heal people from their ailments during their time alive on Earth. Usui Reiki itself has not only been the most impactful experience on my journey, but also the most rewarding for me. I've been able to help not only myself, but others heal different aspects of themselves. And I've also been able to certify several different students who are now healers themselves and creating their own opportunities doing that healing work. And if you're interested in becoming a certified Usui Reiki master, then join us live in January for the Usui Reiki Mastery course. This is a 7-week container designed to fast-track your way to becoming an officially certified Usui Reiki master by the end of February in 2026. So you'll get to become a master-level Usui Reiki practitioner and healer and teacher before the springtime of 2026. And this opens the doors for return investments by offering not only your own professional Reiki healing services, but also the ability to teach your own students and certify them in your very own way. The early bird special discount is still available for this course, and it saves you $333 in total course value. And if you use code ARCANA, that's ARCANA, at checkout, then you can save another 10% off. So this code is exclusively for my Hummingbird Arcana listeners, and the early bird special discount ends on Friday, December 19th, 2025, and doors for the Usui Reiki Mastery live course itself close on Friday, December 26th in 2025. I cannot wait to see you there. Now let's get back to this episode of Hummingbird Arcana. So I want you to think of astrology like a toolbox that has a gajillion different tools in it. There's, think of a normal toolbox. There's like screws, there's screwdrivers, there's different kinds of screwdrivers. There's a hammer, there's nails, there's washers, there's a balance beam that has a little air bubble so you know when something's level. There's so many different tools within a single toolbox. And astrology is the same way. Astrology is the umbrella term or the toolbox itself, and all the different techniques and branches and modalities within it are going to be the different tools that you can use. So I don't want you to think of astrology as just like horoscopes or pop astrology or the zodiac memes that you see on the internet floating around on people's stories. I mean, I repost those sometimes because they're funny, but that doesn't mean that they're all of what the sign entails, or that house or that planet or that placement or a certain season of a zodiac sign entails. So there are so many different branches of astrology, and within those branches there are so many different techniques and different ways that you can utilize them. So I'm going to list off a few here so you can get a broad understanding of just how diverse and dynamic the world of astrology is. So we have whole sign versus Placidus argument. We have the tropical sidereal Vedic argument. We have Hellenistic, Draconic, Uranian, Geodetic types of astrology. And within all of that, you can study transits, you can study synastry, you can study composites, zodiacal releasing, annual profections, astrocartography, local space, etc. So that's just a handful of different versions of astrology, different studies, different tools, different outlets, different modalities. There are so many more that I don't want to waste your time here just listing them out as if I'm like an index for everything for you. But those are just a few. Those are common ones that I see across the internet when it comes to the types of astrology, like, Hellenistic, Draconic, Uranian, Geodetic. These are going to be different approaches and different perspectives, different schools of thought, if you'll think. If you go to a college, not that everybody does, but if you ever go to a college, or if you understand how a college works as a school system, then you'll know that your classes are going to be in different buildings depending on the subject that they're teaching, because they're in a different quote-unquote school. They're in a school of like STEM, they're in a school of art, they're in a school of business. There's a lot of different places within the college itself that you can study, and astrology is the same thing in that context. It's not necessarily, a college in and of itself, and it's not that colleges don't ever offer astrology courses. There are plenty of them that do in the world. But I want you to think of astrology itself as kind of the college or the toolbox, and all the different branches and the techniques as the different tools or the different schools. I don't mean for that to rhyme, but hey, it works. So finding which combination of all these different tools that work best for you, that have the combination that actually unlocks your cosmic blueprint for you, or what makes you feel in resonance with your soul and your mission, and that you're fulfilling that in this lifetime, or something that just makes sense to you or that feels right. Those are going to be the versions of astrology, the different approaches, the different studies that are going to be the most beneficial for you. Follow your curiosity, follow the thing that feels like, oh, this is safe, this is comfortable, this makes sense, this gets me closer to my soul, this reminds me of who I am at my core. That's how you want to be using astrology. You don't want to just be using it to gain a bunch of information like a Rolodex, or just flipping through the textbook of different information online. You can, and you can study, and you can do that. You can be kind of monotonous about it that way, but I personally find, as an astrologer with 8.5+ years of experience studying charts and integrating different astrological insights and perspectives and wisdom, and studying the different techniques and integrating them into my own life and in my practice for other people, it really does boil down to what makes the most sense for you. So yes, do your own research, study the different systems to an extent, see which ones fit better for you, watch some YouTube videos, and go back and listen to some of my podcast episodes if you want to hear on different topics, different modalities, different techniques, etc. But there are so many different techniques that you can actually use to be able to unlock the genius hidden within your cosmic blueprint. Personally, for me, in my studies and in my work that I offer, I use a mix of whole sign astrology house system with tropical astrology as the study, and then I will integrate zodiacal releasing, astrocartography, etc. So astrology isn't going to be something that's set in stone. Obviously, the planets are constantly moving. There's everybody's chart that's different than the other person next to you, than your mother, than your father, than your brother, than your sister, than your best friend, than your distant cousin, than somebody who's your guardian, than somebody who's your caretaker, somebody who's your teacher at school, somebody who's a coworker. Everybody is going to have a different chart. The planets are going to affect them differently. And so astrology is not going to be a blanket experience for everybody. It's not going to be something that just is across the board the same for every zodiac sign, for every placement, for every house, for every transit. It's going to be different for everybody. That's why this is such a unique and complex and intricate system, is it allows for you to unlock the uniqueness, the individuality, and the authenticity of your cosmic blueprint, rather than enmeshing yourself with somebody else's story. That's kind of the point of you having your own chart and you having your own perspective, doing your own research to gather the tools that make sense to you to help you unlock that wisdom within and of yourself. I wanted to let you know that Tarot and Oracle card readings are officially back as an offering on my website, and bookings are open if you're interested in seeing what the cards have in store for you. I've personally had the pleasure of reading Tarot and Oracle cards for over 8 years now, and I've done readings for hundreds of people, and I love checking in with Spirit this way, so I'm super excited to have this offering back in action. So head over to the link in the description box or the show notes for more information on booking your reading today. But let's get back into this episode of Hummingbird Arcana. When it comes to astrology itself and figuring out which systems do work for you and trusting that, okay, this does feel safe. Maybe there's more information over here from what people are saying online, but this makes sense to my intuition. This is what I feel called to. Then go for it. That's how you want to follow that. You don't want to just go along with what's trending on TikTok. You don't want to just follow the algorithm on YouTube, whatever videos are getting popped up on your feed. You don't need to be doing that. You should probably instead focus inward on what you're looking to discover about yourself. Identify your intention first. Identify what you're trying to figure out, what you're trying to understand, what you're trying to make sense of. And then from that point, look into that topic plus astrology in a search bar. For example, if you're wanting to find more balance in your routine, then you could look up planets, routine, astrology. You could look up routine houses astrology. You can look up developing routine in astrology or developing routine in natal chart, where to find best routine for me through astrology. You can get creative about this. It doesn't have to be you already be an expert about astrology and knowing exactly what to look for. There's already a shit ton of information out there that can overwhelm you, so I don't want to throw this idea that you need to know exactly what technique and when to use and like be laser focused about it. You don't have to be super diligent. You just have to be discerning about the information that you're receiving, the ones that you're going after, the intentions that you're having about discovering certain parts of your natal chart. A lot of the time, some people can go in it looking just, for the muggle classics of sex, drugs, rock and roll, or, fame, lust, and money, all that kind of stuff. A lot of people will be superficial about digging into their chart that way, and that's kind of why pop astrology and horoscopes and all those Snapchat little things and memes on Instagram exist, is for those people who want to stay at the surface level, who don't want to dig deeper, that don't want to ask the more hard-hitting questions, that don't want to get to know themselves on a more intimate level. But for those of you who do, that's where all these other techniques come in. That's why they exist in the first place, is to help you dive even deeper, is to help you make more sense of the intricacies of your natal chart and the delicate, fragile nature of all the different systems within astrology themselves. So get curious, ask questions, do your research, use your discernment, and integrate your findings as you go. It's not going to make sense all right away. It's not going to, just one day click. It's going to slowly start to make sense over time. If you're overwhelmed on where to start, then you can absolutely head over to the Astrology Basics episode. I will link that in a card on the screen if you're watching on YouTube, as well as down below in the description box or in the show notes if you're watching on a streaming platform. That episode, I break down basically the true basics of astrology. We're talking about the signs, the planets, the houses, the rulerships of them, and their modalities. So those are a pretty basic, simple way, but if you don't want to listen to that episode, I will also link down below in the description box and in the show notes my free Astro Cheat Sheet PDF, where you can get all that same information that we broke down in that episode of the Hummingbird Arcana Podcast, all for free. No email sign up, no trading of information, no nothing, just the PDF. It's straight accessible on my website, but I will have that link down below as well for you. And if you're interested in diving a little bit deeper than that cheat sheet or that episode did, then I also invite you to take the Astrology Basics Masterclass. You can purchase the video recorded replay for that masterclass that we held in the fall of 2025 earlier. That was such a fun time, and I'm going to be bringing that back for every equinox that we have going on. So if you don't want to wait until the springtime of 2026 and you missed the fall 2025 cohort, then you are still in luck. You're still okay. You can join us in the digital cohort online for the video replay. I'll have that link down below as well for you, along with the free basics cheat sheet, as well as the episode of the Astrology Basics itself. So if you don't understand astrology already and you want somewhere to start, that's a good place to start, is just at the basics before you go digging for too much information. But if you feel like you kind of have a general understanding of astrology already and you're wanting to dive even deeper, that's where I would look into the different systems. Like you could look into asteroid astrology, you could look into points in space, you can look into astrocartography, you can look into zodiacal releasing and transits, you can look into synastry and composites, you can look into annual perfections, you can look into so many different systems to make sense of yourself and to make sense of your place on Earth right now, why you're here, what you showed up for, what you're excited about, what's coming next.
What have you been feeling that's been unfolding in the background that your intuition was right about, that your soul put into place for you somewhere in your chart or in one of many different kinds of charts? So I don't want you to think that just your natal chart is the only thing that exists, or just your sun sign is the only thing that exists, or your big three are all that matters. There's so much more. We have so many different planets in the chart. We have so many different points in space, asteroids, angles, houses, everything. It's all there. It's all information just waiting to be unlocked. So if you're feeling a little bit rigid about your natal chart, I'd invite you to ask yourself the question, what about my self-discovery is holding me back from wanting to learn more about myself? Is there something that I'm afraid of hearing? Is it super overwhelming and I just feel overstimulated in my nervous system to where I don't have the capacity to receive the information? Is there some sort of trauma from the past that tells me I'm not worthy of listening to my intuition or to my astrological makeup and divining my cosmic blueprint for myself? What is it that is building that resistance for you? And I invite you to, once you have the answer to that question, or even the beginning of that answer, to look into that answer itself with an astrological perspective. And if you don't feel like doing all that by yourself, I'm happy to help you out in a session. Everything starts as little as $11 if you're wanting something really quick, and it can extend all the way up into a full report with an hour and a half session for $111. It is really up to you on what you want to do, how deep you want to go, if you want to keep it quick and concise, or if you want to really, really get into the nitty-gritty of your astrological blueprint. But other than that, I'm going to go ahead and keep it short and leave it here for you guys today. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to listen to this episode of Hummingbird Arcana. If you enjoyed and you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the post notification bell so you're notified every time a new episode or just a random video comes out or to you. And if you're listening on a podcast stream platform, hi, hello, thank you. I would ask that you follow my podcast on this platform and that you leave a review of some kind and let me know what part of this episode did you enjoy, or did you enjoy it at all? If not, then let me know if there's another episode with a topic that you'd like me to discuss for me to make in the future, or someone that you'd like me to have on this podcast. And again, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to listen. I'm Jo Hummingbird. It's my pleasure, as always, to assist you in awakening you to your cosmic divinity. I will see you in the next episode. Many blessings and take care, my friends.